establish some sort of uniformity so that it shouldn't matter so much that you get just this judge versus this judge in a given case. But you're right, every case is individual. You can't paint anything with a broad brush. We should be able to review, both as prosecutors, defense attorneys, judges, anybody in the system should be able to review all of the facts and take them into consideration. So you're right that the statutory guidelines or the grounds for a downward departure try to give you some opportunity or some wiggle room if this is a special circumstance that doesn't fall within the norm.
So do you think the legislature was correct in making sentences the same from Pensacola to Key West, but then allowing there to be some local adjustment based on the severity of the crime and how much it affects the community?
I think all in all, I respect the reasons behind it, because even in this circuit, you could find going to one judge versus another meant the difference of decades in your sentence. So I do like the idea behind that, but yes, I also like the idea that judges can look at the individual circumstances in that case, because as you know, every case is very individual, and there could be some special circumstances that need to be considered when you're sentencing somebody.
Karen, Judge McFerrin-Smith, he's one of the senior judges in the circuit now. He once told me, he said, Henry, there are two kinds of judges. There are the social science judges that feel that with probation and alternative sentencing programs for drug offenders, drug court, teen court, things like that, that there can be some hope for rehabilitation and stop the same people, I'm sure you see it yourself, same people coming in and out of court. Then there are the judges that are kind of like by the book. This is what your sentence is, this is the charge, you've run up enough things. How would you see yourself, do you see yourself as more of someone that applies the law? And do you agree that there's some flexibility among judges to apply the law with some sense?
Right. Well, I would definitely always apply the law. A couple of things to know about me. I've been married to Matt for 12 years. We have a 4-year-old little boy. And I'll tell you, he's had some health issues that we've had to deal with. And of course, I'm 45 years old. I've lived my own life. I've had my own challenges. I think it's good to have somebody who has maybe not always had everything come easy, but had to fight for some things. Because I think both in prosecutors, defense attorneys, judges, all of us, I think if you have a better perspective, you can communicate better and understand better. I think it's very easy to look at everything black and white, but there's a whole lot of gray that everybody needs to consider. And our best judges are the judges that really kind of take the time to listen, to hear everything so that they can make the best decisions. I mean, judges are charged with making major decisions that affect the entire community. So a lot of people don't care about judicial races because, fortunately for you, you may not ever be in front of that judge. But judges are making decisions on who's going to get released into our community, who's not going to, how children are affected, where they're going to live their lives, with which parent, how we're going to protect our children in our dependency court. We're dealing with abused children, all of that. All of these decisions impact the entire community.
And I think it's fair to say that even things like this whole thing with redistricting of the state, and I'm not going to get into discussion of that because that would take a while. The redistricting of the state with the Republican majority and a judge now having to, what does he do? Does he throw out the whole election, or does he, he's going to meet next week. Each day that goes by is time that's gone, but a lot of research has to go in so they know what you're dealing with. It's a lot of work, right?
It's a lot of work, and that's why you want to judge, first and foremost, that's going to be honest. I mean, it's a big deal because corruption, again, can affect our entire community. And you never know when those judges are going to be making decisions on elections and things like that impact us even more directly. And you need a judge that's willing to put the work in. Somebody who's not going to, just worry about, oh, it's 5 o'clock, I want to get home, let's just end it here, I don't want to hear anymore. We're fortunate, I think, in the 7th Circuit, we have very good judges, but we're losing so many of those judges. We're losing 5 judges this year. We're likely to lose another 4 or so in the next 1.5 to 2 years. So by the time the next 2 years pass, all of the sitting judges, when I started practicing in 1996, will be retired, and you're going to have a lot of new judges. I mean, this many races and appointments going on, a lot of new blood. You're going to need judges that are comfortable, that do have the courtroom experience and the trial experience to know how to rule on evidentiary issues with comfort level and confidence so they're not delaying. I have seen some judges that aren't as comfortable, and it takes them a lot longer to make a ruling because they're not as comfortable with those rules. Or procedural rules, how to run an efficient docket. all of that is going to be very touch and go when you have so many new judges and so fewer mentor judges that are there to really help the new judges.
Mr. Odd, you had a follow-up
I just
question?
have one quick question, actually. Are these